You mean I can't eat fucking cookies on my cheat day? What kind of fucking cheat day is this shit? This is fucking bullshit. You can just take your bald monk ass the fuck out of here. I'm not listening to you. Fuck you. Cheat days when you are keto adapted. Should you do it? Should you be in a cyclical ketogenic diet? Should you bother with carbs at all? It's a very good question. You know, if you're like me and you're an addict to that shit, I like carbs. I like sugar. I like sweet things, just like all of you probably do. A little less so on the sweet side now that I've had a cheat day. All right, and I did touch on this in a previous video, but for those that were patient enough to watch an hour-long fucking video, but you know, this is almost week 7 of being fat adapted, and when I hit the 6-week mark, I decided, even though I'd already had my drinking day, that I was going to have a carb meal. That is what a cheat day should entail. One meal after an 18 to 23 hour fast, and you can have a normal fucked up meal. By fucked up, I mean you really should just not give a shit and enjoy the meal. Don't overdo it. Don't go nuts. Eat a reasonable fucking meal. You know, go to a restaurant, order a fucking appetizer, entree, and dessert, which is a lot, by the way. And that's it. You know, there was cheat days back in the day where, you know, it became a fucking eating fucking binge fucking pig out session of trying to cram all the foods I can't normally eat into one day. That didn't work. And it's not, if you're trying to lose weight, you shouldn't even have a fucking cheat day, first of all. If you're getting close to your goal and, you know, you want to, at best, once a week, I wouldn't do it every week. I personally don't think I can. I might experiment with it in the near future, having a carb meal every week just to see what it does, see if it destroys any progress. So far, it hasn't slowed me down that much. Today, I measured my waist at 38.5 inches. So there's no movement there for week 7. And my weight was approximately 197 pounds, so half a pound weight loss for the week, which isn't, you know, setting the world on fire. Would I have lost more did I not have the carb meal? I don't know. I mean, the only way to really tell is to do a week without, see what happens, and do a week with, and do that multiple times just to kind of see the trends. I don't really want to experiment with a carb up every week. My goal is once a month to have a carb meal. Once a month, I can eat what the fuck I want for one meal. That's what I'm doing right now. It's tempting. I do feel the urge a little bit to try and do it more often. But for now, I'm trying to really stick to the once a month until I get to my goal, which is 193 pounds. At which case I might go to twice a month or every other week. Have a carb meal, which isn't going to move the needle. Most of it's going to go into glycogen. I'm going to make sure I fast at least 23 hours prior to the carb meal, and probably another 23 hours after the carb meal. And that's just extra precautions on my part to make sure I don't fucking destroy myself that much. So, you know, here's some things you can expect if you're fat adapted, keto adapted. If you've done your 6 weeks with no carbs, you know, carbs under 50 or 25, depending on how fucked up you are. That's grams, by the way. Should you do it, first of all? If you have a lot of weight to lose, I would hold off. Keep riding the wave. You can really fuck yourself if you're in the beginnings of weight loss or adaptation. Do not do it while you're adapting at all. Wait till you're adapted. And the way you know you're adapted, now there's multiple ways to check ketosis. You can use the urine strips, which become unreliable after a time. You can use the insanely expensive blood ketone meter. But one thing that I found that's kind of a method on the cheap that you can do is to test your blood glucose level with a common diabetic glucose meter. I haven't even done this myself yet. I'm probably going to start doing it. But you know, this is through my research that I've heard this. Dr. Jockers, I believe, was the one that I heard say this. But basically, if your blood sugar is between 60 and 80, and you feel fine, you're not hungry or hangry or, you know, pissed off or feeling like shit or tired, or you feel good and high energy and clarity, and your blood sugar's in that area, you're in ketosis. You know, your brain is getting the energy it needs from ketones, so it's not making you feel like a bag of shit when your blood sugar is in that lower range. You're not getting hypoglycemic symptoms, because where the sugar maybe would normally have pissed your brain off if you're a carb burner, because you're getting the ketones in there to fill in the gaps, your brain doesn't panic. You feel fine. You feel, you know, calm. I feel pretty good right now myself, you know, and I've had probably 10 grams of carbs in the past 48 hours. You know, I should probably be eating a little more salad, but nobody's perfect. So that basically boils down to, you know, how you check whether or not you're in ketosis without spending fuck tons of money. I mean, you can go hardcore and do the blood ketone meter, but you're kind of missing the point of the ketogenic diet if you're worried about the minutia of ketones and how it's going to affect you. You just really need to... The reason for keto working so well is it resets your hunger hormones. It resets your leptin. It resets your insulin. You keep your insulin down, and you know, it simulates fasting in a lot of ways without, you know, it's about 60 to 70% of the benefits of fasting you get from a ketogenic diet. And it fixes our apostat, the thing that controls our weight, that makes you hungry based on your energy expenditure. It starts working properly. Now, you might have to move the needle by fasting or exercise or whatnot and not eating, you know, to satiety to lose weight after a certain point once you hit your, you know, plateau. That's unavoidable. I mean, we damaged ourselves. You're going to have to fucking do things to nudge the needle. It remains to be seen, you know, long term. I haven't really been keto long term. This is going to be the longest I'll have been keto. I pretty much dropped off of it after my last adaptation. But it's really a measure of, you know, your body taking care of things. You don't have to count calories. You don't have to go to the gym. You know, if you sit on your ass, you're just less hungry. You don't eat as much because you're not as hungry. If you go and you do an intense exercise day, you're going to become hungrier and as a result, eat a little more. Fasting comes into play. Sorry, I was using my monitor to light my face. Fasting comes into play when, you know, you want to push it. You've plateaued on a ketogenic diet and you want to take your weight down a little more. That's when you start throwing in longer fasts with the ketogenic diet. Other than that, just one meal a day in keto. If you're showing results with that, keep doing that until you level off. You don't want to fuck with your hormones, because fasting does fuck with your hormones a little. You know, your body will try and bounce back. Thankfully, intermittent fasting is a highly sustainable lifestyle. So you can fast your whole life and keep your weight off. But when you start getting down to pretty much in the normal BMI range, it becomes more difficult to, if you've been overweight or obese, like I've been obese, it becomes more difficult to fucking get and maintain normal body weight as it goes on. But the ketogenic diet paired with some fasting, you're not gaining weight back, not easily. You know, you might gain a few pounds back up to whatever your fucking damage level is, your set point. Mine happens to be in the 190s, when theoretically for my height I should be in the 170s, 180s. You know, upper 180s I believe is where my BMI becomes normal body weight and I'm no longer overweight. I'm currently considered overweight, barely. But at the upper end of overweight, you know, and it's based on muscle mass too, you know, which I'm not a bodybuilder, you know, I got a little bit of something there, but no. No. But that's not my goal. I'm 41. I don't give a shit about rippling muscles. As long as I can do the physical things that I like to do, which is hike and backpack, is in my future too. As long as I can do those things, I'm fine. I don't train, you know, too much other than that. And I walk around a lot and carry a lot of gear usually because I'm a photographer on the side. So I just got completely fucking distracted and rambled a little bit. But so the cheat day concept, I understand it. You know, we miss some of our favorite foods. During my cheat meal, I got a meal that I used to get all the time that I really enjoyed. Cajun chicken pasta at Tully's with a slice of cheesecake for dessert. The Cajun chicken pasta was okay. I definitely liked being able to eat that again. But the cheesecake was too sweet now. My taste buds have become more sensitive to sweet. And when I ate fucking cheesecake, I was like, this is like eating fucking forkfuls of fucking pure sugar. It's just not as enjoyable. It turns out my palate has adjusted to being fat adapted to the point where it doesn't take a whole lot of sugar to give me a little bit of sweet. You know, and occasionally I have nuts with a little, like under 5 grams or 3 grams of sugar in a lot of cases, and I can taste the sweet in that. Or I eat 90% cacao dark chocolate, which has hardly any sugar in it, and I can taste a little bit of sweet in that. You know, some people look at me, they're carb burners, if they eat that chocolate, they're like, ah, it's bitter as fuck, I hate it. I love it. It's one of my favorite go-to keto desserts now. It's just insane how our, you know, the things that we think we want, and we finally get them for our cheat day, and it turns out it wasn't all that. And I didn't really, from just doing the one meal, because there's, in the past when I was keto adapted and I did a fuck you cheat day where I tried to cram all the foods I couldn't normally get into one day, that destroyed me. The energy dip and the fucking blood sugar drop, and it was just, I felt like complete dog shit that time. This cheat meal really didn't move the needle much. It, you know, it didn't affect anything. My weight was fine the next day. Granted, I didn't get to weigh myself, but my waist size remained consistent the whole week. That's probably why I didn't go down any at 38.5 inches. So I didn't really move the needle when I had my cheat meal. If I had to do over again, I'd probably try a different dessert because that one was just too sweet. You know, I need to find some cheesecake that maybe isn't as hardcore with the goddamn sugar, which is probably hard to find. I'll look around. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you is, think about your cheat meal if you're going to do it. Don't do it every week. Every other week is reasonable, I think, you know. Reward 2 weeks. Give yourself time to remain in full ketosis all the time. You're not going to undo keto adaptation with, you know, a cheat meal, even every week. I've heard some people don't undo their fat adapting with a cheat meal every week. Those are usually athletes. I'm not an athlete, so I don't think I can get away with that, with the whole carb night fucking diet thing. So if you're like me and you were obese and you're trying to get down to normal body weight, once a month or once every other week if you absolutely can't go a whole month. In only one meal, make sure you do enough of a fast before and after the meal just in case. And then go right back to your keto and your high fat, you know, low carb diet that your body wants, your body's happy with, you're running efficiently on. You know, the cheat meals are more, you know, time them with something really social, some special occasion. It's just, you know, try and be strategic if you're going to cheat. But you don't have to cheat. You know, or you can really be conservative with your cheat. Maybe not have any sugar during your cheat and just focus on, okay, I want some bread and pasta. You know, the less fructose in your life, the better. Fructose is fucking as bad for you as alcohol. You know, that's what damages your liver, causes the insulin resistance the most. Also, the vegetable oils, if you can avoid some of those, you know, they're not good for you. Fast food, you know, cheat day shouldn't be cramming pizza. Honestly, I don't really need pizza because I can eat pizza toppings, you know, and be satisfied just as if I had had a slice of pizza. So I don't really wouldn't waste my cheat meal on pizza, especially since it's just a combination of fucking shitty fats and grease that, you know, that's not healthy for you. I'd much rather have my keto pizza toppings, you know, where I cook it myself and I know what's in it. So yeah, avoid things that are cooked in deep fat fried in vegetable oils when you're doing your cheat day, just because that shit ain't good for you either. It's as bad as fructose. You know, it's bad for different reasons, but it's definitely causes more inflammation, causes more issues. But load up on some pasta and potatoes on your carb up day, you know, your cheat meal. You know, things that you don't normally get to eat a lot of. They can be okay, and that could be your meal. And you know what? I'm betting if you didn't eat a shit ton of sugar or a shit ton of processed foods or fucked up foods during that period, and you just focused on healthy carbs, you're probably okay. You know, it's really the processed foods and sugars that are really fucking us up. The fructose, that's where the damage is coming from. So any diet that reduces those, even you vegan motherfuckers, which it's rare to find a vegan that doesn't eat fucking fructose and sugar, but just keep that in mind, all right? Only if you need to on the cheat days. I'm still shooting for once a month. I'll let you know if I change my mind. But remember, I'm not a fucking expert. I'm just a fucking asshole. Have a nice fucking day.